Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Glad to see you here. I see a couple of hands waving, lots of friendly faces. And I see we are taking advantage of networking, which is really good. But at the moment, we'd like to get our program started. So if I can have your attention, we'd like to get going here. There, we got the quieted down a little bit. Good morning. I'd like to welcome all of you to our January meeting, the first of 2022. It's going to be a great year, and I hope it's better than 2021. That's my own personal opinion. I will not comment anymore. But welcome all. Welcome everybody up on Zoom. We've got a good crowd up there too from all over the country. And so we're happy to have everybody here. Everybody's been around Zoom for a long time, so I'm not going to go through all the different regulations on that, but just be aware where your camera's pointed. And everybody here, you're doing a great job networking. Introduce yourself to the person next to you and make it a good day. And stick around after the meeting as well. So we're going to get started and let's get going.
For the past 30 years, on the third Wednesday of every month, Success North Dallas has had the best of the best in speakers. These speakers come not to be paid, but because of the people in the room. The people who have founded 98 companies, created over 1,000 jobs, and 7 Ernst & Young Entrepreneurs of the Year.
Welcome. And now I'd like to introduce to you my business partner, Bill Wallace, who's been around for a long time. And yesterday he was here setting up and he asked for 2 high chairs. And I said, wow, how you've come from high chairs a long ago and now you're back to a high chair. But welcome, Mr. Wallace.
Good morning. Okay, we can do better than that. I was out chasing dogs at 5:45 this morning, so let's do that again. Good morning. Welcome to Success North Dallas. It's an honor to have each and every one of you here. We don't have VIP tables because every seat is a VIP seat. And that's who you all are. Servant leaders. We go back, we're going to update that video, but we are now at 104 companies, 1,253 jobs, 8 Ernst & Young Entrepreneurs of the Year out of this room, as well as 85 of you that over the years have mentored and formalized mentoring programs. So that's the DNA of Success North Dallas. And if you look at our logo and you think about it, success is what we all aspire to. Those interconnecting C's, that's how we do it, by connecting the right people for the right reasons at the right time. And if you think about it, our qualifications for membership or be a success in your own eyes. I have no right, nor does anyone else, to define what success is for you. Honor your commitments. Let's go back to that handshake and be a giver. It's all about our fellow men and women. That's the DNA. That's what we are. Go to our website, take a look at what we do. New members, first-time attendees, please make sure you've signed up for our emails. Otherwise, you won't hear about the nonprofits we support. You won't hear about the happy hours, and you won't hear about the meetings. So do that. You're here because somebody brought you here. If you're a guest, they felt your DNA matched ours. If you've noticed, this is a safe place. The card pushers are gracefully tossed. Cards do change hands. But those are relationship cards. Those are the cards that you keep. Those are the things that mature into friendships, businesses. And when we talk about networking, networking is very simple. 2 people meet each other, bam, 80% chance both cards go in the trash. 95% chance at least one of them do. If you don't take just a little bit of time and ask about the other person, even consider not giving somebody a card, even if they've asked you for it, until you ask permission to give it to them. And all of a sudden you find yourself net weaving, where you're weaving networks together, which is the genesis of this room. And then the final level of servant leadership is servant leadership. That's the highest level of networking. It's when I meet Nina, and the first thing that's going through my mind is, who might I introduce Nina to better her? And that's what you will experience in this room: hugs, love, care, and compassion. So I've never said it quite like that before, but our speaker today has inspired me in many, many, many ways. And I'm going to say some things that perhaps I haven't said before. But first of all, I want to thank the team. Our team here today. I don't do this alone. Jan Claudner's been with me for 32 and a half of the 33 years. And so many others. Casey Haston outside. Casey's back. Wave or stand up when I call your name. Casey's outside. She's our chief of staff. She's running the front of the house with Luke Hollingsworth, who's in the back there. Karen Gray, Carrie Claiborne, Lucinda Ruck, our sergeant at arms. She's at home letting people in as we go virtual with every meeting now, as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. And then we've got Jeff Crilly and Chris Gambria. Jeff, where are you? Chris. Jeff over here. Chris back there on the camera. Real News PR. They've just done an incredible job for us over the years, both broadcasting and interviewing our speakers. And you might want to take a look at Jeff Crilly's 365 days. He puts out something called The Rundown. Features 3 topics, 3 people, and at least a couple of times a week, maybe 3, you see a Success North Dallas member being featured in the rundown. So take a look at that. Sherry Archibald, Marriott Quorum for taking care of our out-of-town guests. Andrew Reed Esquire, backing Jan up. We actually had to go get a young guy so we could get technology savvy, because believe me, I'm good with turning on the computer. That's about it. So Andrew, thank you for bailing us out. It's changed the face of what we do. And speaking of social media, Lucinda runs our LinkedIn. Kathy Clatterball back here runs our Twitter, our Facebook. And if you can imagine, we now have over 3,400 people on our LinkedIn group. If you're not on our LinkedIn group, please go join it. I don't think I've forgotten anybody. If I have, my huge apologies. But in the news, this is my favorite part of it. We're going to be bringing name tags back at some point. We just don't want everybody congregating on top of each other like they used to at the outside table. And happy hours, we've talked about having happy hours. The 26th of this month at the Lorenzo Hotel in downtown Dallas from 5 to 7:30. We're going to have a heck of a happy hour. And we're still looking for a sponsor of that. SEAE, our workplace innovators, our temperature checks. And then I get to a very special part, our Success North Dallas Young Executives. And I'm not going to even attempt to tell you about them, except for what I did when I started. We had about 20 people in the room. I gave them the background of Success North Dallas. I gave them our values. And I said, I don't speak your language. This is your group. And I left. And they have done amazing things because I left. So with that, I'm going to call up Andrew Reed, who's the president of our Young Executives, to give you just a little bit of an overview about what we're doing.
Hello, everyone. So welcome today. So just want to briefly tell you one of the things that we have really worked on this year and are getting started is our mentorship program. And we have applications that are now active, and there will be a link shown later with a QR code. So anybody that wants to be a mentor or a mentee can sign up. One of the big goals that we want to do here is it's a 1-year program that everyone is a member of Success North Dallas or the Young Executive Program. And we want to help develop new leaders, pass on the knowledge that some of you have to the younger generation. I know I'm one, I have a lot to learn. So anything that I can learn from one of you would be wonderful. And we also want to sharpen the skills of all the young executives and our members here, because as much as you, and as Bill has mentioned, us young generation can also help you guys out, as well as you guys can help us. So please sign up to be a mentor. All of our young executives, please sign up to be mentees. We're going to try to get all of you someone linked up that you can grow. So just wanted to pass that on. I will give it quickly back to Bill. We will be having lots of events this year. We've got themes for every month of the year. So be on the lookout for all of our messages coming out.
Have our young executives stand up.
It's a group now.
It's a group, as he said, it's a group now. And when you talk about mentoring, people ask me, I've mentored 35 juniors to doctoral candidates. People ask me why I mentor. My response is this: they ask me questions I would never think to ask. They challenge me in ways I never thought I could be challenged. And they keep me young. So I can't give you a better reason besides they're our future. So sign up for the mentor program. It's so important. So we're at a transition, a tradition of transition points now. Yes, I got that right. We're in a transition, but from the beginning, Bronwyn Allen, high profile staffing, have sponsored our young executives. Well, Bronwyn came to me late last year. She said, I found somebody to take over for me. And that happens to be VIP. Mike Haynes. Mike, wave your hand. He runs it. I think he does. Casey, I think Casey Hastings sometimes thinks she runs it. But Casey, come on down. And Casey's going to be the liaison and taking over for Bronwyn. And I know Bronwyn is not here, or at least I haven't seen her. But for Bronwyn, we just want to give her something. I think she's on Zoom, but I'll read it. It says, Bronwyn Allen, for your dedicated vision and support of Success North Dallas Young Executives, 2022. So Bronwyn, if you're out there, this is for you. I think you are. We love you. We can't thank you enough. And VIP, we can't thank you all enough for stepping in and taking over for the next couple of years. It's a huge endeavor. It's a time commitment, and it's very, very, very important. And now Bronwyn had a cohort, Kent Barner. Kent, come on up. CIO suite. Kent literally did all the liaison work. He would call me up and say, we need to do this and this. You need to do this. You need to do that. We need to get on the meeting agenda. We need to have this. And Kent, I can't thank you enough for that. So for you,
Well, thank you so much.
as well, we appreciate you both. You've done yeoman's work. You've done yeoman's work.
Thank you for continuing to support.
And thank you for continuing to support. You heard that, continuing, very elongated. So we appreciate you very much. And then I want to thank our partner members as we're going into 2022. And in our 25th year, we looked at how we can continue this on. And Stan Richards stepped up and helped. He said, you're in the top 10% of recognized brands in North Texas. You should be charging $100,000 to be on your website. But he helped me work out a plan where we could be financially stable or work toward it for the next 25 years. We started our partner members. So I would like each partner member in this room to stand up because we have a little gift for you. And Jan and Casey are going to help me with that. But partner members, please stand up and come down here. Where is Phil Barnett? You're standing in for Phil. Phil sends a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader to stand in for him. That's Phil Barnett. What can I say? Emmaus Lenz is our first one. But Phil Barnett was our very, very first partner member who believed in us and said, I'm in. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Who do we have next? Acuity is Tom Neeson is not here. Tom Neeson was number 2. Acuity Systems. Texas Legends. Welcome. Texas Legends.
They give us free tickets to the games. And I think we're gonna have a sweep coming up in a couple of weeks, or something like that, whatever. You tell me. But anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate you. City Central, you're on.
City Central's out there on, you're here.
City Central. One of the greatest co-working spaces. We appreciate it. Network Bar, we helped them start the Network Bar. Phil Romano and I were talking about it for a year before it happened. And so they've been very much involved here as well. Oh, of course. Flood Financial, Mr. Kramer. We appreciate you very much. We'll be talking more about him later. He's going to host a lunch, not lunch and learn, lunch and invest. So appreciate you very much. Work innovators. You want to take your company to the next level? They have everything from production studios to every person in every environment you might need to take your business to the next level. Thank you. Who's next? Greg Duswalt, Rockstar Marketing. And he's got an event coming up the end of the month. Greg, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Jeff Curley, get up here.
Jeff Crilly, Real News PR, started out of his garage when he left reporting after he wrote a book. Then he called me and he said, I've been told if I want to write a book in Dallas, I need to know you. And ever since then, we've been best friends. Jeff Crilly, thank you very, very much.
Do we want to give him one or not? No. Neil Medwin. Neil, we appreciate you very, very much. Cybersecurity infrastructure, MSPs, whatever you want.
Technology.
Technology, baby. Debbie, please come up. ISSA Charities out of Chicago, the International Association of Cleaning Organizations. They write the code on almost every AA arena, Cowboy Stadium, all of that. And they also have a goal through their, well, subsidiary, really. Clean for a Reason, clean 1 million homes of cancer patients for free. Debbie Sardone, Debbie McAdams.
So my daughter, grandson, 3-year-old grandson in Florida, came down with cancer last year. This wonderful organization reached out to my daughter and said, hey, if we have the honor of cleaning your house while you're going through cancer. My daughter started crying as she heard this because she was pregnant 7 months.
Andrew, I'm switching mics.
I'll be forever thankful for y'all for what you guys did to me and my community, my family.
That's a pretty good endorsement. David Hamilton, where's David Hamilton? American Future Series, we partnered with them. Dave and I were talking about this. Yeah, oh, don't worry, yesterday, but it's been since the early 2000s and through 3 different organizations, and he has American Future Series, and you can't even imagine what's coming up with that. So we'll tell you more about that later. Where's Marie Diaz? M-Star Mia, she's not here. The Clubs of Prestonwood, the GM called me and they could not, he's got some crazy disease. And Baker Tilly, Stephanie Turk, and this started back with Tom Montgomery as MCG, but they've been with us since the very, very first year. And finally, Ragnar Capital. I haven't seen Matt Dawson this morning. Matt Dawson, you're missed.
And then finally JB.
And JB the Great is in Houston, making people money.
Do not tell everybody why he's not here.
Oh, I can't tell you why Chris Hill's not here. Pinnacle Graphics, and that's got to be it.
That's it.
All right, it's up to y'all to get these out to them. That's the way we do things. People say, how do you get your speakers? I say, simple. We ask them or they ask us. But why do we get our speakers? And I want to thank, before I get into that, just the partner members, give them a hand, please. And if you're interested in becoming a partner member, you're on our website. We have links to it. We promote what you do. And believe me, the value for the dollar is absolutely huge. Cancer Treatment Centers of America were partner members for a long time. And they said they got more out of being a partner member in the first 6 months from us than they've gotten out of several $100,000 in PR fees. So keep that in the back of your mind. When I think about our speakers, I go out and I try to find a quote. And I found this quote, and it happens to be by Betty White. Butterflies are like women. We may look pretty and delicate, but we can fly through a hurricane. And that so aptly describes our speaker today. I have got this huge introduction. Where do I drop the mic? This huge introduction that's going to go with the mic down there. And I'm going to introduce the real Nina Vaca. I'm going to introduce a lady who I met a number of years ago on a board of directors. And the first thing out of her mouth was, how can I help you? I watched this woman grow. She spoke here in 2009. At the end of the 2007 and 8 horrible depression, craziness, and she ended her talk like this. In these horrible times, my company is going into Canada, and we're anticipating a 20% increase this year. And then she stepped out even further and said, and oh, by the way, if you don't have a mentor, get one. Better yet, get two. And we had the honor of serving on Northwood University's boards. We've had the honor of working in the public together. And I've watched this lady as a consummate giver. She became president of the United States, or CEO of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And in their 100-year history, they had never had a chairman emeritus. And they still haven't, except for one, because you see, it takes 100% vote, no abstentions of all. Their first and only is Nina Vaca. Gubernatorial, presidential appointee, entrepreneurship, anything that's going on in entrepreneurship, Nina's involved with. Anything that's going on to promote women and get women involved in technology, Nina's involved with. Anything that can promote entrepreneurship, new young businesses, Nina's involved with. If you take it back to her age 15, working in her father's or parents' travel agency, she lost her father at that time as well. And she became a technological guru. Anything about technology, she tried to learn. She became a sponge. Then she graduated from Texas State University, who now is the only most valuable alumni, or important, however they say it. But she's that person. And she went to work for somebody, and after 6 months, I believe you called your sister in Houston and said, anybody that's going to hire us is going to fire us after 6 months. Come to Dallas. I'm starting a company. That company is Pinnacle Technical Resources. Some will tell you Nina is one of the top 10 most powerful Hispanic females in the world. And I will tell you, she's one of the top 10 most powerful friends in the world. Nina Vaca, I love you. Welcome to Success North Dallas. Please join me up here.
Well, let me begin.
Is your mic on?
Is my mic on? I think it should be Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
There we go. I was a little destabilized by your introduction. I want to thank you. I want to make it real clear that I am here for one reason and one reason alone, and his name is Bill Wallace. Bill and I have known each other for a long time. We met serving in the community, and I can't think of a bigger heart and a purposeful leader than Bill. So when he called me, disclaimer, he said, no prep, just a small group of people, just come on in the morning, no problem, just a couple questions. I said, sure, but whatever you need. What time? 6:45, you know?
She told me she didn't really want to do a keynote.
I know you live far away. No problem, just a group, no problem. I walk in and wow, look at you. I have always believed that 70% of leadership is just showing up. So I want to congratulate all of you for waking up and actually being here. And I didn't know there was an online thing going on. So my disclaimer is I don't have a canned message for you today. I come here with an open heart and an open mind. I have had a 25-year front row seat at learning how to start a business from my apartment living room floor and to scale it to over 10 countries and thousands of contractors in the United States and Canada and have a global footprint. Anything that I have learned, anything that I can give to you through my experiences, that is the reason why I'm here. And if I can I feel like I've had such an amazing ride in the last 25 years. And if I can just inspire or teach one of you, then the 5 a.m. wake-up call was worth it, because I don't wake up like this.
When I first asked her to speak, she started the talk like this. Well, first of all, she said, what on technology do you want me to speak on? And I said, I don't. I want you to tell your story. She said, nobody's ever asked me to do that before. And that was in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's telling her story, and her husband walks in at the back corner because he had to take the kids to school. Because when she's in Dallas, she's flipping pancakes or driving carpool every day, speaks from no one in Dallas but her own company. And it's quite honored to have you then. But when Tim walked in the room, you lit up like a Roman candle. It was so incredible to see. And I've watched you over the years. You've had a health scare at one point.
I did.
And how did she adapt to that? Well, I think she's doing 2 triathlons this year so far scheduled.
A half Ironman, yeah.
And, you know, little things, but that's her recovery from something to take it to the next level. But what I'd like for you to do right now, define entrepreneurship as you see it.
You know, people ask me all the time, is an entrepreneur born or is it made? How many people have wondered that question yourself? I'm speaking to a room of entrepreneurs, so you probably have your own opinion. And I see entrepreneurship as a continuum. If entrepreneurship was a continuum, there are people who are on this side, right? The Bezos, the Gates, they're on this side. And there are people who are on here, risk averse, not wanting to go into entrepreneurship, wanting to stay safe. I mean, it is a continuum. All of us have a little bit of entrepreneurship in us. The question is, where are we in that continuum? Do we need to be moving a little to the left, or do we need to be moving a little to the right? Because if you're here, sometimes you're the big idea person. You're the big idea. You're ready to take risks, but soon you will learn that nothing, what I have learned is anything big and meaningful, starting a company and growing it to scale, you're not doing it by yourself. Anything that is big, audacious, you're doing as a team, as a group. No longer is it about your individual talents. It's about a group talent. And so the question is, where are you? If you're too over here, you have a lot of visions, but you're not getting anything done. Here is where things get done. Operators, executors. So you've got to have a group of people and understand where they are on the continuum. And not all 4 or 5 or 3 of you need to be here. And good Lord, make sure you're not all here, because you'd run a great company But nothing would get, oh, would you run a great company? You'd run a company without a lot of things getting done. Everybody would be dreaming and visualizing. And if you're here, I lead a team of achievers at Pinnacle Group, so I know this. If you're here, you'd run a most efficient, well-run company with 0 employees and 0 customers. So I personally believe that entrepreneurship is a continuum. Where are you in the continuum? Are you moving to the left a little? Are you moving to the right? And make certain that your team is a reflection, a diversity of thought, so that you can stay checked and balanced on what the goals and the mission might be. But that's what entrepreneurship means to me.
Okay, if that is in fact what entrepreneurship means to you, how do you put that into practice within the confines of your own company and your own executive team?
Oh gosh, this is an excellent question. I think entrepreneurship is about allowing people to fail. The biggest lessons that I have learned in my 25-year history is all the learning happens at the failure site. And perhaps that's the real reason I'm here, because you're not reading the awards, the accolades, you're getting to see the learning happens in between the lines, not in the awards. And I feel like I have learned so much. And that is the very first step, I think, into entrepreneurship, is to having a learning mindset, being willing to learn from others. For me at Pinnacle, it's allowing people to fail. It's believing in them and making a decision together. And if it doesn't work, fail fast and move.
Fail fast.
Fail fast. and learning. Because if you're failing and not learning, 2 things have to be true. You can fail fast, but you got to have the learning. If you're doing the same thing over and over, this quote, doing the same thing over again and expecting the same results is the definition of insanity. And so the learning mindset to me is critical in an entrepreneurial endeavor. But for me, it's been about, because I define it as a continuum, there's a lot of entrepreneurs at Pinnacle Group. I'm not the only entrepreneur. Most people believe. I asked a student the other day, I had the pleasure of speaking to the MBA online students at SMU. And I asked him, he was asking me questions about entrepreneurship. And I said, before you become an entrepreneur, you have to figure out the why. What is it that you're wanting to get out of it? Because once you understand the why, there are multiple ways to come at this. You don't have to be a CEO and a founder to be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur inside a company like Boeing, you in a big company. And I submit to you that at Pinnacle Group, there's an army of entrepreneurs. And so what we have done is we have developed a company where we take care of the back office. We take care of all the hard lift of becoming the entrepreneurial piece, the part that and allows you to do what you do best. And by allowing and inspiring people to do what they do best, they can ignite their entrepreneurial continuum and they can achieve great success by being inside an entrepreneurial culture.
I have a dear friend, Scott Walker. He founded a company called Bill Matrix, and he developed the 1-800 bill pay system. And one of his tenets was, there is no school of entrepreneurship. If you want to become one, go to work for one. And you have opened that door for so many people, including your brother, including your family, but yet you still own Pinnacle. That is yours 100%. And it is that so that you can keep at the helm. And I've watched you as you've guided this company through some very difficult waters and times, almost two depressions, 3, and has had experienced growth in every one of those. And you told me one day that didn't come from you, that came from your team. You were just there at the helm. And I admire that. You've taken Pinnacle into the community. I've watched so many, but tell us a little bit about your community endeavors and how you use those to spark morale and commitment, employee commitment back to Pinnacle.
Sure. The way that I would answer that question is I would take you back and give you a frame, because you need context, not just the answer. And I'm going to give you a little bit of context. I'm technically an immigrant. My mother and father left Quito, Ecuador in the 1960s and moved to a beautiful place called Los Angeles, California. At the time, you needed a work invitation to come into the country legally. And my father was invited to work for a company called Pacific Games in Los Angeles. It was a factory. They made checkerboards and game boards. And so I was a classic immigrant family. My father worked 3 jobs. My mother gave birth to 6 children, 5 are alive. And you have to understand that context about me before I answer your question. I grew up with a front row seat of watching my parents fail and start up, fail and start up. And that created a resilience inside me and an experience inside me that is incredibly valuable. I also grew up with a mother that highlighted the importance of giving back to the community. So we didn't have the connections when we were new. So my mom used to corral people together, get stuff done together as a community. So I learned at a very young age the power of giving voice to a community that may not have one, the power of galvanizing together to create change. And so this is what I grew up with. And I've dedicated my life, if you think about it, to those 2 things, becoming an entrepreneur and giving back to the community. So it is embedded in me, in who I am. And personally, it comes from a place of gratitude. I am the first, but not the last, to get a college education in my family. Bill mentioned I lost my father at a very young age. We as a family didn't have a vision for what was next. And so by the grace of God, I got a college education. I had the opportunity to join the technology industry, an industry that was booming. And shortly thereafter, my stint in New York, I started a company from my apartment living room floor with the mentality. My mindset at 25, I just disclosed my age. My mindset
I was
at
going to
20,
tell them anyway.
oh, doing it. My mindset at 25 was not, I'm going to be a technology guru, not, I'm going to build a global workforce solutions practice that services the Fortune 500, not, I'm going to be not, I'm going to grow 200 times my size in a 10-year. None of that, not, I'm going to make money. None of that was falling through my head. The only thing that was flowing through my head is, how can I help my family? How can I lift? How can I use my personal gifts and the valuable gift of education to be in a country where we can be anything if we're willing to work hard? That's what I was thinking about when I was 25 years old. So all that I've achieved, it comes from a place of gratitude. I'm honored to be the first, the youngest, the presidential appointments, the public directorships, the awards, the Ernst & Young, all of it together has created for me an emotion of gratitude. Now, when you overlay that and you're the CEO, the tone is set at the top. So when Pinnacle was first founded 25 years ago, I had that gratitude and I had that mindset, and I've set the tone from the top. And so we don't know how else to be, Bill. My answer is, today it's in vogue to give back to the community. Today it's in vogue to be diverse. Today it's in vogue to conscious leadership, they call it. Do good, do well, do good while doing well. Like, that is our ethos. That's how we began. And so for us, it's something that we've done for the last 25 years. It's something that I've encouraged, that I've embraced. As Pinnacle has grown, so has our contributions to the community. And I decided a long time ago, what kind of an entrepreneur do I want to be? Well, I'm a conscious capitalist. I want to grow a business and I want to give back to the community just the same. And the more we grow, the more we're giving back. People will call that a business strategy. I just called it my personal, that was how I personally felt. And so today we can call that a strategy. But for a long time, quite frankly, it came from my personal experiences, my ability to ignite the tone at the top. And I'm really proud today because, by the way, we're celebrating our 25-year anniversary this year.
Wow.
25 years. And in 25 years, we're rolling out this year the purpose of the company. We hadn't had it on our website. We've had it in our hearts and in our minds. But the thing about purpose, and Bill, I had a chance to do a lot of deep work in the year 2020 and 2021. And our purpose, by the way, the purpose of your company isn't something you're going to find. It's something that is revealed. Because the purpose of the company exists the day the company was born. And so I am now clear on the purpose of Pinnacle Group. We exist, our purpose is to connect people with opportunity. It's what we do for a living. So we provide IT labor to the Fortune 500, and then we extend that to the community through the work that I do, provide opportunity. And so my personal purpose is to improve lives. I love people. I love humans. It's why you and I met doing good work related to humans. Thank you for those amazing stats. I don't know that I'm deserving of them, but you're right. Wherever I can galvanize people and improve people's lives, sign me up.
Well, if you talk to anybody at Pinnacle, the conversation will eventually revolve to the community. And I've been amazed at that.
Thank
I've
you.
been amazed at the people that you've introduced me to and said, oh, you need to meet so-and-so. And I've been amazed. Now, she has 3 honorary doctorates. I believe it's Berkeley, Northwood, and another. So you've got me bested by 1 on that one.
St. Mary's.
But we had the honor of having honorary doctorates together
I did.
at Northwood University. And that was an experience to watch you in the boardroom. So let's go to the boardroom. Let's
Okay.
go to Pinnacle's boardroom. And let's talk a little bit about how you lead in a board environment. And then let's transition that into how the work you have done internally, but yet externally on diversity in the boardroom of the major companies, please.
Well, I personally believe that you can complain from the outside or campaign from the inside, right? And so for a very long time, I have aspired to seek the boardroom table where the decisions are being made, because that is where the difference will come from. And so I've worked very hard to get a personal track record of success and achievement so that I can be in the right places. And then when I am in the right places, to actually have the courage to speak up. And that is a very difficult place. By the way, I consider myself a learner. I already told you that. After 25 years, I have something to offer too. So what I try to do is be a learner and a teacher at the same time. And I would offer you the sentiment, and any answer that I'll give you, I'm going to try to teach a little bit of what I've learned. And being a leader is all about service. Whether you're leading a team, my management team, a group of people. And so you have to be willing to take off the player hat and put on the coach hat. Think about that. As a leader, as a business operator, a long time ago, I had to stop being the player and start being the coach and use all my time and energy. And even today, all my time and energy, my number one priority is the development of my personal management team. Because see, everybody has a next level. Everybody does. Even if you're a celebrity, an NBA star, everybody has, was it Confucius that said, everybody has the next level? And so if you're moving and pushing towards your next level, your responsibility as a leader is to guide and create the conditions for that team to move up. So having the courage to speak up, just a quick story. I was in the, they call it the Rosewood Room in the White House. I was meeting with President Obama at the time. And I was being appointed, I was joining the first cohort of being PAGE ambassadors, presidential ambassadors for global entrepreneurship. I was the only non-household name in the group. I'm sitting there with Tory Burch and the founder of LinkedIn and Steve Case and all these people, and Alexa Toffel, and I'm everybody, Hamdi, the founder of Chobani, everybody's a household name, and then there's me. And I'm thinking to myself, as I often have in my 25-year history, how did I get in this room? Holy, I don't know what I did. How can I possibly be here? And so that little pilot light in your heart is like, I just better be quiet and just be grateful that I'm here. And the courage, they were talking about global entrepreneurship. So the President of the United States asked us each to go to 5 different countries to talk about entrepreneurship. And I got the opportunity to go to Vietnam and Jordan and Bahrain and Ghana, Africa, to talk and espouse entrepreneurship. And it's in those moments that we have to decide as leaders, are we going to have the courage to say something? And so there I was, I raised my hand and I said, Mr. President, thank you for the opportunity to be here. With all due respect, I'm delighted and honored to go to 5 different countries and espouse entrepreneurship because America is a role model for entrepreneurship. But if I might say, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurship to discover in America. It's not just about in the global community. What can I be doing to promote entrepreneurship in America? And everyone had just looked at me like, she did not just say that. But it takes that kind of courage. So you're in the boardroom today. I was the first female director at Cinemark, and it's history. But I'm not the last. There are 3 there. And it's not because I'm there and all of a sudden I made it happen. No. The head of nominations and governance, the lead director, and all the directors made that happen. I take no credit, but I was a strong voice. I was a strong supporter. So when you think about leadership and you think about the boardrooms and the roles that it takes you, take that moment. You're going to have that moment in your career. I can't wait until those young entrepreneurs that I saw stand up, you're going to get to that moment in your career where you're sitting there and you're thinking about me and you're like, should I say something? Do I have the courage to say something? The question is how you say something, not if, but how you frame it. So that is what I have learned. It's a very long answer to your question, but it is my answer and I'm sticking to it.
You remind me of Ray Hunt. He does not like to speak. He won't title a talk. He just wants to have an open dialogue, but yet every answer is a keynote. And this morning, every answer from you has been a keynote. It's rumored that she changed the face of the Comerica board. It's rumored that she made Kohl's go in a different direction. And there's a whole lot of rumors that, of course, can't be substantiated by fact. But I submit to you,
Never believe rumors. Rule number 1.
look at their board of directors today and look at what it looked like before. So that's the impact you've had.
I take no credit.
I know that. But we might be able to give you a little credit, even though one of the most humble people I've ever met in my life. Okay. So we've gone from starting with the company, your definition of entrepreneurship, you're finding the purpose of the company over the 25 years, but going all the way back to day one, that purpose is really the same. It's only blossomed. We've gone to the boardroom. Now let's go to the home front.
Okay.
How were you able to do all that you've done and still have 6 children, a husband that loves you dearly, beautiful home, a great company? How have you been able to find that balance?
Well, you must be counting my husband and my dog as the children, because I've got 4.
No, you said 6.
5 if you count the husband. No, that never gets old. It never gets old.
Husband and
I love
dog.
him. I love him.
And yes, I was counting them.
I have 4. What Bill is trying to say is the topic of work-life balance. My husband and I had 4 children in 6 years. And everything I've done in my life has been at 1,000 miles an hour. I spent a lot of years in my development saying yes to everything. And it only took until I matured to really understand that you can have it all, you just can't do it all. 2020 was incredible for me. I used to be on a plane, train, and automobile. In the year 2014, I traveled to the 5 different countries with the White. I mean, I was 10 miles wide 1 inch deep. And you can do that. I've been there, done that. I've got the t-shirt. It's just not sustainable. And so at some point, 2020 was a real gift for me because it allowed me to really get grounded on my personal priorities, what truly matters to me, and be able to dedicate the right time and balance to it. I am not a perfect woman, although he makes me sound like one. This is why I love him so much. I am so not. I'm very certain that there are a lot of failures along the way. I missed a lot of Valentine's dances. I made decisions, and I know now that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And to keep that ever so present. I can tell you how I created the balance in my mind. And I can tell you incredible stories to back that and evidence that up. But the reality is the right balance is the one that you can live with. Because you see, I decided a long time ago when it came to my children, it was important for me. I valued quality time versus the quantity, right? I may have missed a football game, but it's the quality time that really mattered to me. There's a lot of moms that made it to the football game and they weren't paying attention. They were chitty-chatting on the bench. And so, not to knock that, I respect it because it was probably their time to disconnect because they've been giving the attention, at another time. So I want to be respectful of that. But the life balance for me has been about keeping the long game ever so present and communicating that long game to my family and to my company. I've always thought in 10-year periods, and this is my invitation to you. If you set your goals in 1-year increments, you might be disappointed because 1 year goes by like this. You've heard it when we raise children. Oh, you blink of an eye, they're teenagers, right? If you say, I want to be in the boardroom in a year, good luck with that. It was a 10-year journey for me to get there. And so if you set your goals in 1-year increments, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, be a decader. What can you achieve in a decade? Think about that. What could you, and I know some of you are like, a decade, that's so long. Not really. Not really. Many of you are young in this room. What can you achieve? You underestimate what you can achieve in a decade, and you overestimate what you can achieve in a year. And so if you think of yourself, I'm on a decade journey. I'm in year 2 of a 10-year decade. My personal goal is to be the chairman of Pinnacle Group and no longer be an operator. That's a 10-year play. I can't do it in 1 year. I can't do it in 2. Maybe I'll do it in less. I'm giving myself 10. I am in year 2. And if you want to transform your companies, the very first transformation is yourself. And trust me when I tell you an inside job is the hardest job you'll ever do because it requires looking in the mirror. It requires being a learner. It requires changing your mindset from, is this happening to me, to, is this happening for me? And if you can get it, and through my hardest moments, and I've had some very hard moments, my appendix exploded in 14. The tragedy of my father happened at 17. In 2001, I was looking at a liquidation plan and we almost went out of business. I invested in a software company and I have been in a lot of very hard moments. And I've had the grace to ask myself in that hard moment, is this happening to me? Or is this happening for me? Because when you say, and you can be in the mindset, is it happening for me? Now you can start to get creative. Because if you stay in the, it's happening to me, you're a victim. Game over, you're a victim, somebody else's fault. If you switch to the creator mindset and say, this is happening for me, now you're like, oh, I wonder why. What can I do? What kind of creativity can I get out of this? To me, the 9/11 attacks was this is happening to me. I was down to 4 employees. And I allowed myself, wait a minute, this could be happening for me, because it allowed me to be really creative, to go out and recruit the right team of people and come out kicking. The coronavirus was the same exact thing. We had been an explosive company. We had just in 2019, we went into 3 countries in Latin America in 18 months, Chile, Mexico, and Argentina. The company was just like me. Tone is at the top, moving at 1,000 miles an hour, opening up different countries, doing different things. How many people during 2020 cleaned their closets? No, really, how many people cleaned their closet out? Okay. How many people use that same sentiment in your business? Did you do that in your business? You often don't have time to clean your closet. It's kind of that thing that you have back there. You're like, yeah, it's not a priority. I'm gonna get it. During 2020, we had been growing so fast. And I could have immediately said, oh my gosh, we serve Toyota, we serve United Airlines, we serve Southwest Airlines, American Airlines. That went here. Is this happening to me or is this happening for me? So that mindset allowed me to say, time to clean the closets, implement Workday, invest in Workday human resource, invest in this, buy this technology. Let's clean out our proverbial closets. In 2020, let's not focus on revenue like we always have. We stopped focusing on revenue a long time ago. Let's focus on working in the business, in the guts of the business. Because there's one thing that I know from being a survivor and a graduate of 3 global tragedies, right? 9/11, financial collapse, and now the coronavirus. I knew one thing. Life has taught me one thing in business. There is a rebound. I don't know when it is, but I guarantee you there was going to be a rebound. So we used 2020 as an opportunity to prepare for that rebound. And sure enough, here we are in 2022. We are thriving. We're celebrating our 25-year anniversary. We just got Pinnacle Group on the building off of North Central Expressway. We're serving some of the largest companies in the world. Our financial practice is blossoming. We're working on internal leadership inside. We know our purpose. We know where we're getting. The CEO's got a 10-year plan. It couldn't be better. Why? Because it was happening for me. So that's my answer. That was a long answer again.
Oh,
I forgot the question.
I think if I'm going to take one thing away from this today, so far, is it happening to me or is it happening for me?
Mm-hmm.
Words of incredible wisdom. Okay, since it's happening for you and you have your 10-year plan in place, so how do you see the next 2 to 4 years in terms of opportunity for entrepreneurship, in terms of economy, and in terms of just plain gut feeling?
Oh, I love this question. I love the gut feel. So I don't know if many of you know, but I have accepted a new role. The mayor of Dallas. I have the honor to be Dallas's first ever entrepreneur in residence. And I'm super excited about that role.
It's in that long bio on
It's
the
somewhere.
website.
And so what on earth is an entrepreneur in a residence? The state of Texas is battling, has always been for a very long time. If you remember 10, 20 years ago, California had the most corporate headquarters, and then it shifted to New York, and now it's Texas, right? And everybody knows and understands that the entrepreneurial ecosystem is the heartbeat of this country. Small businesses for time immemorial have been fueling this country. Small businesses were once the Nikes, the Microsofts, the Gatorades, the Googles. They were once small. And they just grew into the next business cycle that they had. And now they're large household names. But make no mistake, there are millions of entrepreneurs in America, and that is recognized at every level. There is no argument there. And so for me, I love Texas. I love Dallas. This is a city that has given me oh so much. And one of the things that I have learned is that when you're trying to make global change, the answer is, I mean, if you think about it in this room, like, what can I do to change the global economy? It's daunting, right? You're going to think of yourself and go, there's nothing I can do. I'm just little old leader here running my entrepreneurial business. There's nothing that I can do. However, what I learned is that to do anything global, you must start local. Now, if I asked you, what can you do to contribute to the Dallas entrepreneurial ecosystem? Now you're like, oh yeah, I got this, right? So it's the ability to see the insignificance of who we are at a global level, but the significance that we have at a local level. So here's the charge. Dallas wants to be more entrepreneurial. We want to be known as an entrepreneurial city. We want to embrace entrepreneurship. We want to help entrepreneurs grow, because when they do, so does the economy. And when the economy does, so does the state. And when the state does, so does the country, and so on and so on. So I have accepted that role. I am in the process of defining the things that we're going to accomplish. I have lunch with Trey Bowles, our friend, today. He is the real engineer behind, he led the mayor's task force. The mayor created a task force of some of the best entrepreneurial minds. And we have a 40-page document of their findings and rationale and why we would even want an entrepreneur in residence. And my feeling is we're going to have 3 pillars. Number 1 is exposure. If you're an entrepreneur, how much money do you budget for marketing and PR? Not a lot, right? And isn't it so awesome when somebody else toots your horn? It's actually more powerful when somebody else toots your horn, like Success North Dallas, right? So exposure is the gift. And with social media, there's a lot that you can do also, but exposure is very powerful. The second is education. How many of you have heard of the Adidas business cycle model? 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Okay. We've got some Adidas followers. That map changed my life. It changed my life because it helped me understand where my business is and where I'm going. Because if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. You got to be really centered on what you're trying to do. Is it a lifestyle business? Are you an empire builder? Where are you going with this? Is there a succession plan? You're leaving it to the kids? Is it an enduring company? Like what? Let's get real clarity. And to me, the Adidas model was so like, oh, there I am on the map. But it's like a training plan. I'm a triathlete. I know a training plan when I see one. I can follow a training plan. I was like, ooh, I got a 10-year plan to get here. I mean, think of the millions of entrepreneurs in America and how few of them get to the Russell 3000. That's where we're headed. We need a map. Just like think of all the athletes and marathon runners in America, less than 1% are triathletes. Fastest growing sport in America. I like to do hard things because I like to challenge myself even more. So exposure, education, and the third one, this is my favorite. And I'm speaking to a room of entrepreneurs, so I know you're going to agree with me. Procurement. You want to help an entrepreneur? Give them a piece of business. It has been my personal experience that when you give an entrepreneur a piece of business, you afford them the opportunity to float the access to capital boat, the access to talent boat, the access to everything boat. Because all entrepreneurs ever want, raise your hand if you agree with me, is an opportunity. And there you have it. So those are my pillars, exposure, education, and procurement. And so I am aligning, and of course, this incredible, beautiful, now I know why he wanted me here early. I was texting him at 5 a.m. I'm like, why am I there now early? What am I doing there? Why am I there? What time do I speak? And now when I was sitting there, it dawned upon me, this is why he wanted me here an hour early. He wanted me to soak it all in. He wanted me to meet you and see you and understand the power that this group has. You're a beautiful partner, a platform and a partner for all that we are going to be doing to make Dallas a better place. So you got your wish. I fell in love with you all over again.
We're in. For those of you that don't know Trey Bowles, Trey founded something called the DEC, Dallas Entrepreneurs. When he was laughed at, they said, oh, well, we don't need this. And yet he sustained and grew. And now you see touches of it in many cities around.
That's right.
Addison Treehouse, You see several different, he brought in 2 other people with him, said, I can't do it alone. And finally got the attention of the city a number of years ago. But this entrepreneur in residence, I was going to close with this after you finished, we finished. I was going to mention, but this entrepreneur in residence is a huge opportunity for each and every person in this room, because it's not just this little group here. It's the North Texas community. You know, the Dallas Chamber pretty well defined that when they changed their name to the Dallas Regional Chamber.
Mhm.
And then we have the World Affairs Council, who's with us today. We'll
Yeah, new
introduce her.
CEO.
Liz Brazelford, former CEO of World Affairs Council of America, the entire governing body. And Dallas somehow talked her into coming here.
She's
So,
seeing what I'm seeing. Global reach,
Welcome,
local.
welcome to Dallas, Liz, because she's just gotten here. And this opportunity exists, but opportunity is only a door that's cracked open. Sometimes we forget to run through that door.
Mhm.
And you are a shining example of running through doors. And I know you've gotten knocked on your butt a few times, but you're still gone through the door. And I take away from this that, you know, I've often said last year was one of the greatest years of opportunity
Mhm.
we have ever had.
Mhm.
While all were sitting, or most, on the sidelines waiting for tomorrow, winners were out there winning. And I see this for 2022, 2023 as a land of golden opportunity. But thinking globally and acting locally is going to be the backbone behind all of this. So when the entrepreneur in residence reaches out to you, the answer is not, what do you want? The answer is, how can I help? And I think this embodies this talk. Nina, I cannot thank you enough. I love you, my dear sister, in both life, health, and crime. And I wouldn't trade for the friendship over these many, many, many years. We've got a few minutes. I'm going to entertain, if I may, 3 questions. Randy, your hand went up first. Debbie, your hand went up second.
The corporate life cycles that you referred
Third.
to
Yes, sir.
has a downside.
It sure does.
And there are famous companies that were brilliantly innovative
That's right.
and they went down.
That's right.
How do you keep your company from doing that?
Great question.
That's a phenomenal
Oh.
question. Let me give you a frame, okay, of the business life cycle. How many of you are familiar with human development? Right? You get your teeth at what, 6 months, you kind of walk at like 1 year, you get the terrible 2s, and then you become a teenager and you hate your parents, and then you become 20. Like, that is the human development, right? What he is talking about is a company development. The same way I could look at a child and say, oh, they're just starting to walk. They must be here. A business person can look at a company and their dynamics and say, let me tell you where you are. Are you at infancy? Are you at go-go? Are you at adolescent? Are you at prime? And at that prime comes, if you get too much bureaucracy, too much service model, too much people with less entrepreneurial minds, you start to do this. And so the way that I prevent that at Pinnacle is I understand in that cycle, it teaches us 4 types of people or mindsets. There's the entrepreneur, right? There's the producer. There's the integrator. What's the other one? And there's maybe there's an operator in there somewhere. And so as the CEO, your job is to figure out which one is on the capital and which one is in the mini. Like when we're a go-go company, all those years that we were growing, I mean, we were on the Inc. 500 list 13 years. We were drinking out of a fire hose. We had a major E, big P, little integrator, little compliant. What compliance? What workday? What are you talking about? We're moving fast, right? And so as a CEO and a leader, you create the conditions for the company. You have to be able to spot, what am I flexing now? You have to be able to say, not only are you getting the right people on the bus, but are they in the right seats? And so right now, believe it or not, is a time of a little e. It's not a big E. Right now, we're a big P and we're a big I, integrating, and then operational excellence. We're implementing Workday, we're implementing technology, we're making sure our cybersecurity is like, that's our focus right now. It's not like, ooh, entrepreneurship, we're starting different division. That's not where we are right now as a company. So the way that I prevent it is by never taking the E offline, just bringing it online and bringing others more. That is the beautiful balance, and that is how you prevent yourself from getting into bureaucracy.
Wow. Debbie Sardone. By the way, Debbie owns one of the largest home cleaning companies in America.
I love it.
Just a little
Thank
thing.
you. Number one book you can recommend for an entrepreneur, and can you please spell audacious model?
Oh, Adizes.
Indeed.
Adizes. It's literally how it sounds. Adezs. Adizes. And when you meet him, you're going to love him. If you look him up, you're going to love what he has to say.
ADEZ.
No, ADEZ. Adizes. See, I think it's ZE. Just start it. It'll pop up. I promise you.
And I couldn't find it.
No, it's Adizes. Adizes with an A. I knew there'd be a speller in the room. See,
Z.
and here's the beauty. And here's the beauty of it. I didn't have to be right. Somebody else can come in and
That's
correct me.
that's Dennis Kagan, who sits on more boards than I've ever heard.
I love him already.
Thank you.
So the Adizes model,
And the number one entrepreneurial book.
the number one entrepreneurial group. Okay, there's so many out there. By the way, I met an author this morning who wrote a book and it's sitting on top. Is he here right now? Where is
Kent
he?
Billingsley.
Kent Billingsley, where are you? Stand up. Let's give him a round of applause. He actually wrote a book on entrepreneurship.
And Nina, he also got Cuban to write the
Forward,
to
I
it.
saw that.
Yeah,
So there's
that's
tons of
rare.
entrepreneurial books. Let me tell you which one I love the most. It's an oldie, but a goodie. It's good to great.
Yeah.
Good. I actually re-listened to it last year during the 2020, was it at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021? And I have already read the book once, but this time, sometimes you can hear, but you don't really listen. And I was ready to really listen. And I think Good to Great continues to be one of the most incredible entrepreneurial books I've ever read.
And the last question goes to Luke Hollingsworth. No, I didn't say that right. The last question. I know Luke Hollingsworth. Never mind.
Thank you very much for espousing internal change in order to change probably the world, first of all. And then what help do you need as an entrepreneur investment that we can provide?
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful question. And a product of this very group. What can I do to help? What I would love, and what I think Dallas needs, because remember, it's not about me, it's about Dallas, and the gift that we are going to give to Dallas is engagement. And so when you see, inevitably, we're going to roll out whatever we're doing. And by the way, I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel. There are a lot of organizations like Success North Dallas that just need amplification. Now, if there's anything I can do, I can amplify. I got this. And so I want to amplify the good work of organizations that are already doing well, partner with them. And maybe there's new things that will come out of this, maybe an educational piece, more partnerships, but I want to do both amplify and create. But engagement would be my answer. And I do a lot through social media. So it's Nina Vaca. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn, but you feel free to follow me on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook. I try to give these little tips that I learned through life more often than not, but that's where I'll be kind of releasing information.
Mike Rochelle, thank you for that question. I don't know where that Luke Hollingsworth, but you look like it anyway. But ladies and gentlemen, Nina Vaca.
Oh my God. My goodness. You didn't need to do that. I loved you already. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. You honor me. We have, stay up here. Hang on a second. We have something for you. This book was first given to me by Colleen Barrett when she retired from the board of directors of Southwest Airlines. But it's The Nature of Excellence by one of our members, Lee Cohen. It is a fabulous book. And while you enjoy that, dinner for two at McGuire's.
Wow.
But of course, you could go to breakfast for two at a wait before you go to dinner. And finally, in between breakfast and dinner, a trip to Grand Spa for a facial or a massage.
Now you're talking.
See,
This was worth
is-
the 5
this is-
a.m. wake up.
You know, at a golf tournament, the next year's tournament starts when the first ball is struck at this year's tournament. See, this is how we get our speakers to come back. We bribe them. We love you.
Do it every time.
And this book is by Richard Cavan. Richard, where are you? And it just came out last night. And he asked me if I would give you a copy of this.
Oh, I would love that.
And so.
Will you
with-
sign it for me?
He already
Address it
has.
to- Oh, wow.
And I'm going to slide this back, but I said, Rick, I don't have time to read the book. So tell me about it. Power to Thrive is taking the Christian community by storm with its message on identity, mission, mindset, not living in fear of the power of forgiveness, reducing stress, creating a vision for your life, and of course, helping you to unlock your God-given powers so you can elevate your everyday living. The book launch is today. It came out last night. So go to Amazon, buy it,
Can I read
review
this?
it. You may.
This is so beautiful. May I read it? It says, Nina, may the Lord continue to bless and use you as a great advocate and example in the field of entrepreneurship. Continue to live the power to thrive life. Make this scripture your daily mantra. It is from the book of Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Thank you, Richard.
That's strong. Oh. Thank you again.
You know, I came here today hoping that I could give, and the reality is today I've received. Thank you so much for your response to my words. You're just an incredible group of people. So thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
We have continually the best of the best at this lectern. And Nina, you raised the bar, girl. You raised the bar. That's all I can say. And I want to thank you so very much. Upcoming meetings. February, Craig Hall. We're presenting the Dallas Police Officer of the Year for the 23rd year. It's really nice with this lavalier mic. I find myself leaning into the mic, my stage presence, because I'm getting ready to make a point, but I have to remember I have the lavalier on. This has been fun. Craig Hall, and Craig will be here February. March, Bob Schlegel, the founder of Pavestone, and so many other Dallas community charities in North Texas. April, Seth Waugh, he's the CEO of the PGA, flying in from Houston. We're also working with a few others, such as have committed to speak, from Ross Perot Jr., Elon Musk, Joe DePinto, Southland Corporation, 7-Eleven. We've got a great year coming up. And I can't even tell you some of the people we're talking to come speak. But we've got so many opportunities ahead of us. And I challenge each and every one of you, just bring one. Just bring one that matches into the entire group. We're going to continue to broadcast virtually, but we really want you here in the room. We've also started a virtual membership. It's $195 if you live 100 miles outside of Dallas. We've gotten a lot of traction with that. So we'll have national and international speakers coming. And please remember one thing, but you can't tell anybody. We've never paid a speaker or their expenses. They come because of you, the people in this room. That's why we're here. Upcoming sponsored events. Coder of the Code, Dr. Stephen C. Meyer. It's ABTP, and I'm an ABTP. I'll tell you what that stands for. Association for Business Technology Professionals have joined with the DFW Technology Prayer Breakfast and Success North Dallas to bring him to the Las Colinas Country Club. I had to get that right. Las Colinas Country Club. It's going to start 5:30 on the 25th. So that's first thing coming up. Second thing that's coming up on January the 26th, we're doing the happy hour at the Lorenzo Hotel. On January 26th also, Success North Dallas Young Executives are having that's on the 27th, having a luncheon, an evening learn. They do happy hours and they start them at 4 o'clock. And the first part of it's learning. The next part of it's drinking. I mean, networking. Excuse me. I get that right.
Bill,
I don't need you to interrupt, Jan.
I'm going to interrupt you. Look at this slide. Here is the code for the Young Executives Mentor Program that should have been up early. So if you want to grab a picture of that, you can get the application up there. Thank you, Bill, for letting me interrupt.
Thank you, Jan. By the way, Nina, when's your birthday party? So wait, we won't go to there. January 27th. Mitch, come up here for a second. You can tell the better not. This is something for investors. It's a town hall lunch at table 13. And Mitch, just take just a second. Sure. Your time will be up before I can turn on this mic.
Thanks, Bill. Many of you heard me talk about this unique portfolio we have that kind of, it's a better mousetrap. How do you take your nest egg and turn it into a paycheck when you retire? Or if you have a number of investments, you want to have some cash flow. We're going to do a deep dive into our stock income strategy. It allows you to take 1% per month out of your portfolio without eroding principal. It's a strategy that's been in use for 27 years. We have a limited number of seats left. You can see Kelsey. She's sitting at the back if you'd like to go. We have room
Kelsey,
for about
stand
10.
up.
Yeah, go ahead and stand up, Kelsey. We have about probably room for 10 or 11 more people. So if you'd like to go, the requirements are $1 million to invest, or if you know someone that would like to attend, you can invite them to attend. If it sells out, we'll probably hold another one. But it's at table 13, Addison. You get a great meal. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday.
That's next Thursday. What time do you want them there?
12.
12 o'clock straight up. Craig Duswalt, come up here for a second. Rock Your Life for Entrepreneurs. This is an incredible opportunity. If you want to learn to speak, the speaking business, you want to be exposed to some of the top speakers in the world. He's done this.
Thank you, Bill. So my event is February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's a Thursday night, Friday day, Saturday day. I've done this in Los Angeles for 15 years. We average 600 to 700 people at these events. I toured with Guns N' Roses and Air Supply. I helped market Guns N' Roses, and I help you. Like, how does Guns N' Roses get 80,000 people to come to a concert? So what I do is I help entrepreneurs now become rock stars in their business. And it's all about mindset, marketing, and mastery. The marketing is the key. All of us do regular marketing. I teach you rock star marketing. How do you get a community of people to trust you, to engage with you, generate more income in your business? So I would love, I'll give you a business card when you come up here at the end, and I'm giving out major discounted tickets. They're $700 each. They're getting in for $77 if you want to go for 2.5 days, just for success.
He'll be right here by the Texas flag.
I'm going to be by the
afterwards.
Texas flag.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that what
that
that is?
flag.
Okay.
Look, I know you just came here from California, but Craig, let me help you. This is the Texas flag. Okay. All right.
California has 0 stars.
California could not hold him. Oh, well, moving right along. Randy Mayhew, where are you? What do we have at First Friday Book Synopsis? Use the mic. I want you to use the mic. The mic is turned on.
Thanks,
You
Bill.
can keep the mic.
We are in our 24th year of the First Friday Book Synopsis. And this coming month, I'm doing the new book by Chip Heath and Carla Starr called Making Numbers Count. And I'm doing the first new take on time management in quite a while, 4,000 weeks, time management for mortals on the New York Times bestseller list. You come, you learn the content of the two books. You don't have to read them in advance. Park City Club and on Zoom on February 4th. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Randy. First Friday Book Synopsis, second most, no, it's the equal. So I was going to say second most important meeting of the month, but I put it on an equal basis. It is the best return on time that I've ever had outside of Success North Dallas. It is fabulous. And you have to promise people that you'll never tell anybody you did not read the book. That's the price to come. And finally, David Hamilton, stand up, David. David is American Future Series, and we'll be talking more about these upcoming events, but they have got an event coming up on the 22nd of February. It's a virtual event. It's the National Security Innovation Summit. David's been putting these on with Michelle Pearson, and they're getting thousands of people to come to their virtual events. In April, and I want you to write this down on your calendar, April the 13th. April the 13th will be the Magellan Award. Maggie Magellan, one of the most decorated people in World War II. He just passed 2 years ago at what, 104, 103, almost 104. But at this event, General David Petraeus, General Joseph Dunford, General Jim Mathis, Lieutenant Colonel Harry Rutledge, so many people will be at this event, and it will be the presentation of the Magellan Award. And David, where will this be held? Frontiers of Flight Museum down at Love Field. And there'll be a 25% discount for any Success North Dallas person that wants to buy a table. So let's come together and buy a couple of tables for this. We've been supporting the American Future Series since American Future Series started. And they have made huge, huge headways. So with that, we'll talk more about those later next month, but continued happy hours, continued great meetings. Remember to sign up for our emails or you will not be in the know. And membership, well, we have a place on our website that says make a donation. We do a lot of other things. We'll be telling you about those other than just these meetings. And your financial support is greatly appreciated. If you want to go on our website and make a donation. But if you really enjoyed the meeting and you're a guest, join. Membership's $395 a year, all 12 meetings, the food you eat, and all the first-time guests you bring. But most importantly, the relationships that you build. And remember, you're not a member if you're not paying dues. So keep Jan Claudner happy. And if you think you owe dues, just send him a check. If you get an invoice, send him 2 checks.
Bill, can I interrupt again?
You certainly can.
I have another, I failed to change the price on the website. So if you sign up real quick, you'll still get $345. I will be changing that. Bill is hounding me to do that.
By
I will
noon
get it
today,
done.
you'll change that.
By noon today, I'll get that.
So if
changed.
you join before noon today, it's $345.
But wait,
As a-
there's more.
As a young executive, it's $245 for the first year. Young executives get a $100 discount, but by noon today, then it goes to $295 and $395. And there's more. You don't want to interrupt me a third time? Okay. I'm getting used to it. You got to understand. Turn the mic off. And very quickly, as we wrap up the meeting, I'd like any new members in the last 60 days to stand up and introduce yourself, name and company only. Any new members in the last 60 days that wish to introduce themselves, please. Excellent. Welcome to the family. Anyone else? Please. Awesome. Gary. He's been on a 2-year sabbatical with his wife. Now he's back to buying companies again, which is great. We met back at CEO NetWeavers, those many years ago. And Gary ran the M&A forum. And it was the best attended event CEO NetWeavers would have on a monthly basis. Who else? Please. David Ackerman, welcome to our family. Anyone else? Please. Just joined. Oh, I so welcome you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for becoming a part of our family. And now, most importantly, anyone in transition, new to Dallas, or looking for an internship, please stand up and give your name and discipline only. After the meeting, please come down by the American flag. And anybody in this room, remember our third tenet? It's all about our fellow men and women. Remember that? Anybody in this room that has an idea for them, come down and visit with them afterwards. And you might be a surprise. You know, I tell you a real short story. When the highest ranking female of a China company flew in to speak, who ran global HR and wrote the Lenovo Way, she hired over 6 people. Just because people had the courage to stand up and say, I need help. Please, anyone in transition looking for new opportunity, please stand, introduce yourself, and discipline only. Please. Known Donna for years. You're good. I'll endorse her. Somebody hired Donna today. Anyone else? Great. Oh. Laura Russell, does that get that right? Moved here from New York City. She's a reformed physicist, and she's looking for an opportunity to broaden her exposure and to grow. You should meet Nina Vaca. See, that's how things happen here. Anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you. Reminder, next month, Craig Hall, just bring one. Come down and meet Liz Brazelford afterwards, World Affairs Council. Come down and meet Adriano Ocampo. Number 3-ish at Boeing Global. Come down and meet Craig Duswalt. Come down and meet Mitch Kramer. We've got so much going on here. Don't run out the door. Don't have a $45 piece of rubber chicken, get there this time it starts, and get there, leave right when it's over. Enjoy the people in this room. We have it for a while. So with that being said, may you do what you love to do with people you love to do it with on purpose. God bless and Godspeed. See ya next month. Happy New Year.